When we talk about the most successful New York City floor general, that have to be no other than Bob Cousy, Andrew Jackson great, Holy Cross legend, and of course, top 50 player of all time, the Boston Celtics. He quickly earned the nickname Houdini of the hardwood because of his flashy ball handling and passing abilities. You already know that's New York City style all the way. Cousy helped the Boston Celtics capture 6 titles and won the regular season MVP, rare for a point guard. 2 All-Star Game MVPs, and 13 All-Star appearances. So you already know why I had to apologize. Because there's no way in hell I should have left off Bob Cousy off that poster that I put up yesterday. So again, my apologies to the Cousy family. Now, that was the 1950s. Now we move on to the 60s. We move on to the 60s with a Brooklyn native, Boys High legend. Yes, indeed. Lenny Wilkins made his debut with the then St. Louis Hawks. This Brooklyn native was named to the All-Star team 9 times and once led the league in assists. He also finished in second place behind Wilt Chamberlain for the 1967-68 MVP award. Wilkins later enjoyed success on the sidelines as he set the all-time record for most wins by a head coach. Salute to Lenny Wilkins, for sure. So now we move on to the 70s. The league witnessed the entrance of Nate Tiny Archibald, 1970. The former UTEP guard made 6 All-Star appearances and was named to the All-NBA first team 3 times. He is the only player ever to lead the league in both scoring and assists in the same season in 1972. Wow, what a season. 34 points, 11.4 assists per game. Now that's saying something. You already know where I'm going now, okay? Because we're moving on to the 80s. Now, you have that 10-year gap. We produced another point guard, right? It's been going like that for a long time. But this next basketball head took what they was doing and brought it back to the hood. And there was an explosion with Dwayne Pearl Washington, another Boys High great. May he rest in peace. Pearl Washington was the 13th overall pick of the 1986 draft. Washington is regarded as a New York City playground legend. So, when it came to him putting on for Boys High, putting on for all the leagues around the city, because he would show up while he was playing high school ball, while he was playing college ball. He was coming back to the neighborhoods, solidifying his names in the streets and in all the playgrounds around New York City. But his pro career only lasted 3 seasons. In the league with the New Jersey Nets and Miami Heat, playing only 194 ball games. So people could have that argument there. But again, I don't judge people on what they just did in the NBA. I'm talking about the whole totality of the player and how many people they touched along with their stats. All right? So, and I want to say pause on that because I don't want Cam and Mace coming after me on this one. No doubt. Salute to it is what it is, for sure. Now, during that same time, you had a guy by the name of Kenny Smith. That's right, Archbishop Malloy great. North Carolina great, and NBA champion. But people don't really know that about Kenny because he's been an NBA analyst for a very long time. Now, this former Tar Heel never made an all-star team, but he helped the Houston Rockets win 2 back-to-back championships. You can't deny Kenny was a big factor in those games, hitting those three-point shots, getting Houston out of that shooting slump, as we would say. But when they was packing in an Olajuwon and nobody else could hit that shot, Kenny came up big. So salute to Kenny. Now, we talking about Pearl Washington, Kenny Smith, and this basketball head, Mark Jackson. These three guys was in high school around the same time. So there was a lot of battles going on. Just imagine having those three compete throughout the city during the 80s. It was a madhouse. Mark Jackson, he came in getting drafted by the hometown Knicks with the 18th pick overall. He won Rookie of the Year honors, and he made his team's only trip to the All-Star game in 1989. So he got an All-Star game under his belt. Played 17 seasons in the league with 7 different teams and currently ranks second on all-time assist list behind John Stockton. I think now he's probably like third. Somebody help me out and let me know. But I think he's third right about now. I'm going to check in a few minutes. So now, we're still in the 80s. We're still in the 80s because there was a guard up in Truman making noise. He was making so much noise that he took his team, which was undersized, and won the whole thing. State championship. Then went on to Oak Hill Academy and became a star around the country before he entered DePaul. And his basketball head name is Rod Strickland. Rod Strickland, the Bronx native, even though they already had Mark Jackson running the show, they chose to draft Rod Strickland. We're going to get to the funny business that the NBA has done to a lot of New York City guards and players throughout the years. But I just didn't see this making sense. But they both had great careers, nevertheless. Strickland backed up Jackson for a season and a half before being traded to San Antonio, where he became a starter. Like Jackson, Strickland went on to play 17 NBA seasons and maybe one of the best players to never make an all-star team. He averaged 17 points, 8 assists per game for 5 consecutive seasons. Now, think about that. We have one of the greatest point guards ever to play the game. Averaged 17 and 8 and never make an all-star game. We all have issues with that. If y'all want to see why and what happened, y'all need to go on my page, YouTube channel. Make sure you subscribe if you didn't subscribe, and check out that Rod Strickland episode. He explains it all. Salute to my guy, Rod Strickland. And this guard shook up the world. Kenny Anderson, arguably the greatest New York City high school point guard of all time, arrived on the NBA scene. He was selected by the Nets with second overall pick in that year's draft. Anderson struggled in his rookie year, but later emerged as one of the league's better point guards and was a starter in the 1994 All-Star game. He had a decent 14-year career, but never became the superstar some predicted he would. Listen, you play 14 years in the league, you play 10 years or more, man, that's a plus. So we just knew it. He was going to be the one. And he did not disappoint. Stephon Marbury made his highly anticipated NBA debut in 1996 after 1 year at Georgia Tech. And much like Anderson before him, he was expected to become New York City's next great point guard. Starbury began his career with the Minnesota Timberwolves as he teamed up with Kevin Garnett to form one of the league's most exciting young duos. He spent 2.5 seasons in Minnesota before being traded 3 times in the next 6 years. Marbury played 13 seasons in the league with an impressive 19.3. That should be like, I think 20, but let's say 19 and 8. 19 and 8. 19 and 8 is definitely Hall of Fame material. All right? But I'm not going to get there because I'll be biased because y'all going to say, yo, he from Lincoln, so he going to say that. I get it. I get it. I get it. It's all love.
Y'all ready?
Y'all ready?